Welcome to the APECS Podcast. Today we talk about technology and how fast it's changing the world. It's changing policing, military life, and our everyday life. We're talking about Alex getting replaced in the gym and how technology may help or hurt training, modern life, comfort, how to use technology to your advantage without recreating the movie WALL-E. Stay with us.
Boom. Booyah. I got you, man.
All right, switch the camera to Alex. Here we go.
Oh, I guess that's exactly how we're going to start. Switch the camera to Alex, and we're going to say, hey, thank you guys for coming out here, joining us on our APECS
We're not doing the intro.
Podcast.
The intro has already been done.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Why can't I do one?
Just start
that's the problem.
Because we do the intro at the end.
That's the problem.
So that we know like what the episode's about.
I can't make any human error because, one, they already threatened to replace me. So I guess that's the issue we had, because I was excited to tell you that I had gone to Sam's this past weekend. Yes, we're going to hear about my life. So went to Sam's this past weekend, and there was an option I've never seen before. You scan everything, and there's like this glowing blue light, and it just says, what does it say? Something or not even a self-checkout. You have to walk right underneath the light, and it scans your phone and scans the items you have in your cart, and you just leave.
Yeah.
I was like, I did not want to go through there because literally, I'm walking through there with my wife, and I was like, she goes, oh no, so mind this, I never go to Sam's. Love my wife for this. She does all the shopping at Sam's because I can't handle the magnitude, the size, and how many people are there. But oh my God, I feel bad because now I want to go every time with her, because literally we went and got everything we had, scanned the items, and it's a glowing blue light. It's so crazy. It looks like you're going to be taken into like a third world realm or something.
That's got to be in response to so much burglary and stuff, though.
But how would that respond to burglary when you're walking through a light that scans you?
No, but that's what I'm saying is, like, there's no hiding anything from that checkout, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably eventually going to try to make that the standard so that everybody walks the same path, and you're not stuffing anything in your pants. It's going to get scanned.
And the light is glowing, and it's like a blue light, and it's I think it's called quick lane or fast lane or something like that. But you just walk through and you just leave. And
that's so cool.
When I sat back and I turned back around, and of course they had a self-checkout, and they had actually cashiers. Like, going into our conversation on the way home was literally like, what are our jobs at risk? Like, people need to take consideration with this technology. So I told her, I was like, well, the funny thing, I was like, well, the easiest thing is to replace me. Just have a AI character showing exercises, and that's it. I'm out.
You know what's crazy though is I did watch a video. Greg Doucette,
yeah,
Coach Greg, the parrot voice. So he actually made a video where he asked fitness questions to AI, and basic questions.
I need to watch that. I didn't hear that.
Dude, it was horrible because, again, AI, it is not actually intelligent. It is pulling information from all over the internet, and there's all kinds of information on the internet, true or not, right? So
artificial.
Right. So he's asking basic questions like, do calories matter when you're trying to lose weight? And it's saying, no, calorie counting is not a reliable method, and the idea of calories in, calories out is just a theory, and all of this sort of stuff. But basically, at the end said, it's basically up to your genetics, so you shouldn't try. And Coach Greg is looking at it like, so AI, which is supposed to encompass all of human knowledge that we have ever collected, is telling us that calories are just made up, essentially, as if the laws of thermodynamics aren't laws, And so anyway, his whole point with it is like, yeah, genetics play a role in how many calories you burn throughout the day, which is going to mean you can eat more or eat less. That's the definition of metabolism, but it still comes down to calories. If you have a high metabolism, that means you can eat more calories without surpassing what your body's burning. If you have a slow metabolism, you can't eat as many calories because your body's not burning as many calories. That's just definition. But anyway, that's the thing about AI, is people are treating it like it is a source of all
knowing.
all facts. Yeah, and all it is pulling information from the internet, and we all know how reliable all the internet's information is all the time. So
what do we say the last show? Wikipedia. Wikipedia is 100%.
My wife made fun of me for that too when I showed her the episode. I never knew I said that.
Wikipedia. I mean, but I guess what they call it, artificial intelligence. But even then, I mean, just for, and I don't want to say, I guess I'm not giving myself enough credit of basic information. Showing someone how to do a dumbbell curl is not hard. Showing someone how to do a bench press is not hard. Instructing them. So for me, honestly, I was telling my wife, I was like, well, I said, honestly, even though my years of experience and what I've had to pay to keep up with my credentials, oh my God, you can create something on a computer, and then all of a sudden you have somebody doing the exact same thing. But the only thing that I had as an argument is personal connection. I feel and I hope that in this world we still have to have some kind of personal connection with someone as opposed to just dealing with a computer.
No, so I don't know. I've probably got more of an optimistic view of it. Can AI or even just basic fitness apps or whatever be very helpful to people who can't afford a personal trainer, that sort of thing? Of course. It can be helpful to personal trainers themselves as they're looking for more ideas and ways to train people or whatever. But I can't see in any way how AI is going to be able to give you the feedback that a personal trainer is going to. Because, yeah, it's not hard to teach bench press. I can give you the bench press essentials on a list, but that's different than watching you and critiquing you as you move, and I can look at your shoulders and can tell you if you've got them rolled back correctly, if your shoulder blades are together and down, whatever. I can tell by looking at you. I'm not even a personal trainer, but I can tell. AI is not going to be able to give you that sort of feedback real time
yet,
at least yet, but maybe 50 years from now they got nanotechnology with cameras flying all around you or something, but yeah, you're probably not lasting that long anymore.
Less than 50.
Yeah, for sure. Celebration of life.
So
I'll enjoy it.
You need to start investing and get ready for retirement. But I don't think that's any.
It is interesting though, because there is, Disney has a movie, a kids movie called WALL-E, and in the movie WALL-E, the robots have basically have been doing things for humans, and the humans go up into space and this and that. Ultimately, the humans up there are just floating around. They're in a spaceship or space center, and they are basically just lying down and just being driven wherever, and they're just being fed, and they're not doing any exercise, they're not doing anything.
Everyone 600 pounds can't do anything, and they're staring at screens all day.
And the robots are taking care of everything, or whatever. And it is just an interesting concept, because when the movie came out, you're like, there's no way. And then now we have all these platforms that auto-generate or auto-do these things. I mean, it's just so hard to know what's real and what's fake.
Well, even in consideration, so that's one aspect of it, but I mean, like with the self-checkouts and, basically a lot of these, even where they're starting to deliver pizza through robots and self-driving. Oh, that was the other thing. When we first walked into Sam's, I'm walking and this flatbed with water and stuff on it is driving right towards us. And my wife just...
It's like, we're under attack!
And so my wife just walks right around it, and I'm turning back. I was like, babe, hey, nobody's driving it. She goes, oh, yeah, they have them all the time. Well, another guy, I guess he heard me say it, so I guess he felt like, okay, well, I kind of been wanting to take a video of this, but it was delivering to the aisles, and there was nobody driving it. And it was funny because it would go.
Was it? Is it able to like stack the shelves or whatever, or it drop stuff off?
I wanted to follow it, but I didn't want to be that one weirdo going, I'm following it. I'm going to destroy it.
It doesn't have any feelings. I don't think you can catch a stalking charge for following a robot.
No.
How was that your next logical thought? I'm going to follow it so I can destroy it.
Yes, because robots are taking over my job, man.
You don't stack shelves.
You're a shelf stalker.
Not from that, but shelf stocking goes into personal training. There's a big correlation.
I see it.
No, but seriously though, but when people would walk towards it, it had a sensor in the front, and it would move out the way. And then I literally walked by it, and I was like, "Wait, did you?" She was like, "Oh yeah, they have that all over here."
My worst fear with those little robots is, when you're walking and you see somebody and you both like try to move, but you like do
Oh,
a
I
dance.
should have done that with it. I would have danced with it for
I
sure.
do not want to end up in a tango with a robot. I don't know. That's just a different level of uncomfortable. And then everyone around you is watching you.
I
Just
should
dance with a chunk of
now
metal.
I'm curious, but it was Sam's. It was over there in Sugarland.
Have you been to the airport? I mean, you went to vacation.
Yeah.
So in the airport, I flew to a small town in North Texas, and we were in the airport, me and a buddy of mine, and we were going by this like checkout area. But all you do is go in this little room. I mean, it's clear glass in the middle of like the terminal. You walk in and just go grab something off the shelf, and then you just walk to the end and then walk out. And it took your credit card information out of your pocket. It charged it to you. You don't have to do anything. You walk in, you grab it, you walk to the end, and then you walk out.
How does it know which card to charge?
I'm telling you, I don't understand it.
Yeah, well, that actually came out.
I didn't want it to charge every credit card.
I thought that was only in Australia because I saw the same article. That it's gonna. Oh, I'm sorry. It's gonna be a 7-Eleven partner with a company that they're gonna do it. The first 7-Eleven is Australia, where you literally walk in and you just grab something off the counter and you walk out. But I don't know how they scan your information, or if you have a smart card or something, they do that. But they keep track of everything you grab. So you actually saw it. Can you say what airport it was?
It was either, I think it was in Dallas, Fort Worth area.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which Dallas, Fort Worth, they're
He said small town in North Texas.
Yeah,
I was
that's
flying
only
to-
the.
Oh,
That's only the
like,
fourth
that is a
largest population
huge
in
city
the United
in Central
States.
Texas.
Dallas is the population wise is like fourth or fifth largest population. You better Google that.
It's probably in the top 10.
Top 5. I would say top 5. Dallas has grown.
I think Houston population wise is in the top 3.
Yeah, for sure. Houston, yeah. I think Los Angeles, Houston. I give them
You're
number
missing
6.
some big ones.
New York.
Oh wow.
Miami. What is it?
New York, 18.9 million.
Oh my God.
Los Angeles, California, 12.5. Chicago, Illinois,
Chicago.
8.9. Houston, Texas, 6.7. DFW, 6.5.
Oh, thank you.
It's
so what is
right
that?
You said top
behind us.
3.
Oh my God. Okay, so I go from. I knew it was definitely higher than the top 10. I forgot about Chicago.
I mean,
but
it's
hey,
in the top 10.
Yeah.
But what is it? Top
I
6?
said top 10, which was
number
correct.
5.
Oh, so number 5. Yeah, Dallas is big. So that's good. God, wait, New York has 18 million.
18.9. They're almost 19 million.
That's
Oh my
like
God, and it's like so small.
it's like 7-8% of the U.S. in one city.
Well, at least
That's
well,
crazy.
I wonder if they include the Dallas with Dallas Fort Worth, since it's like more spread out.
I said DFW.
Oh, I didn't hear you say
Yeah.
DFW. Well, okay. So maybe they're just on technology. I'm surprised that the Intercontinental doesn't have that at least.
So there's 331 million people in the United States as of 2021.
That is crazy. Dude,
And we're all about to be replaced by
So it's
robots
334.
and AI.
As of January 1st, 2023, there's 334 million people. You know, that's the thing, is when I went to Nigeria, they had a self-checkout at a grocery store in the major city we
Good for
were
them.
in. I was like, what?
Good for them. No,
I mean, yeah, it's like, but you drive 5 miles and there's people living in the dirt who farm for a living. They've never been to a grocery store, ever. It's wild.
did y'all hear
I-
about World War Africa
Wait.
trying to break out?
Well,
we've heard about it. Can I ask my question real fast before I forget? Because I really want to know this. Because I really want to hear what y'all think. If they started having robots as cops and pulling people over, issuing tickets, could that take away the fact of how everyone assumes that cops are racist? Like, you know how there's a big thing about defunding the police, but if the cops are robot, how are you going to prove that a robot is racist? Because how many times people get pulled over and they're like, I was racial profiled. That's the word.
See, I feel like that's almost more dangerous if you start to put AI into like these police robots and they just start to profile people.
But no,
Because-
but how are they going to profile? That's
So,
what? No, but
Am I gonna have to say it?
are you saying that the person who's creating them is going to input and be like,
So
look for this person.
No,
they
but
look
if
for this
the robots
person.
learn, like through AI, they're going to start to pick up on trends, and they're going to start targeting people in certain neighborhoods, or targeting based on like the statistical likelihood that they could do something crazy. So I feel like that'd almost be worse.
So there is a, I read an article back when we talked about way back about the robotic dog, like going in these, drug busts or whatever, hostile situations, and they don't want to send an officer in, they send this robot in or whatever. Well, there's an article that came out about a basically a large robot that's placed in New York City, or they have some sort of agreement, but it's going to be like this weird looking robot that's going to be posted in these areas, and it's just going to scan for like bomb threats or
throw that on the screen
or things like that. It's kind of wild, but they're just going to place these. They're going to place these out there.
It looks like my air purifier that I just bought for the room.
Okay, has anybody ever seen Doctor Who? I'm making myself sound like a nerd.
Doctor Who?
Yeah, Doctor Who.
What do they call the robots in that show, James? Do you remember? All I'm saying is that is exactly what they looked like.
The little exterminate.
Yes,
things?
the exterminators. What were they called? Is that what they were called?
The
Mechanoids?
no.
Oh, Daleks?
Dalek.
Daleks?
Dalek. Something like that.
All I'm saying is that is exactly what they looked like, and they were not nice. So this is giving me
Wait, leave it right there,
weird feelings.
Michael. I like how it says Spot is a $75,000 robot, not including attachments. Like, what kind of attachments did you buying? You're like, does he do anything else? No.
Well, like it says the NYPD says it will be used for high risk incidents. You know what they're trying to prevent? Boston Marathon bombings. It's that kind of thing. That's what it's scanning for in these major, highly populated areas like New York City that has 20 million people in a city. Yeah. Like, that's a lot. And so there's a lot of risk. And so they'll post these things. They won't be walking around right now, but I think this is just paving the way for future robots, police officers, and things like that.
Well, and you may be able to pull up the story, but that robot dog incident, basically, they were using it for like a active shooter type situation that is too dangerous to pursue with officers. They'll just send a robot in there with thermal technology or whatever. He'll find the nearest room, scan, be like, yeah, that's him, and just take him down through the wall. Like, that's literally what this robot dog did. He was able to shoot him through the wall. And so I don't know if that's a good. I don't know how I feel about that, because there is no, with people, generally you want to have, like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, be able to identify and execute, right? With a robot dog, who's calling that shot, and are they doing it off of a camera somewhere? Are they calling those shots through thermal technology? Like, do you really know who you're shooting? I don't know.
Humans have judgment. That's the big thing for me. Humans have judgment.
So I know he's probably watching the show, but Will Smith had a movie that came out several years ago, I, Robot, and it's that kind of thing that, again, back when that movie came out, it was probably like, that would never happen. But LAPD, they just voted that they're going to take this $300,000 robotic dog, and it's going to be part of their team, a police dog that's robotic, and they're going to use it for opening doors and going in first and things like that.
But I think what it comes down to is what you do and your own personal preference. Like, I'm fine with it being at easy scan, but I think obviously if it's going to impact your job, your career, then you're like, oh, robots are bad. But stuff like that, you're like, yeah, that's great. But then
in theory,
what about people who have been trained for years to be the people who respond to those incidents, or it's like,
I can tell you, there's some adrenaline junkies that are going to hate their job getting replaced. But I mean, it's a similar concept to like drones in the military, right? Unmanned drones.
Right.
It's like, okay, if
tanks,
that goes
they
down,
have tanks. I know they have
unmanned tanks. Yeah. So I mean,
have that.
If
submarines.
If it goes
unmanned submarines. Because they just busted this. Wait, no, we can't make no jokes about a submarine. It should have been. No.
Anyway, if it goes down, if this unmanned drone goes down, you do not lose a human life. You just simply lose hundreds of millions of dollars, right?
It's worth it.
So, that's probably going to be the biggest objection, is just how much this stuff costs. Like, how realistic can it really be? I don't know.
And you got to think about the guy who's the defense contractor is thinking, that could so be their sales pitch. You think about the lives you'll save. Yes, it costs more money, but think about the lives. It's just the economic side of it, I know it's worth it, by all means, saving a life, but that's taxpayer dollars is paying for that kind of stuff, And so,
Yeah, but I also think that they're going to continuously find ways to make it cheaper.
For sure.
So they're going to find eventually ways to cut costs and still make it effective. I mean, everything is
well,
like that.
because in reality, how much does it cost to train a good pilot?
Oh, yeah.
How much does it cost to train these SWAT guys,
even
right?
the training for the dogs, because, they have the canines that can sniff out bombs and all that. And, think about how much do they pay for that, where they can just create a robot that can just go up to it, sniff it, and if it has a bomb, it blows up. They're like, okay, there's a bomb. Like, they'll be able to replace that fast.
I don't think the goal is send the dog into New York City to go blow up the bomb.
As a suicide bomber.
No, I'm not saying the dog. I'm saying, like, if a robot and they're not sure, if they're not sure to send a canine, that if it's too dangerous or the situation, they can send a robot.
It would have infrared.
I would rather send a canine than a
robot
that costs $75,000.
Oh yeah, no, not me.
I don't know.
No, well, I don't know how much it costs to train a canine.
This is Jonathan and Michael Peter.
I don't care about PETA. They probably hate me anyway. No, but I remember, the Army talks about how it costs them, I forget what the average is, but it costs them like $20,000 just to put a soldier through basic training, because they're paying for their food, the water they use, the instructor
through
time.
Basic training? So how much do you think it costs to get somebody up to basic training?
But that's just 10 weeks, right? That's not including their
taxes.
technical school. That's not including time and training in their unit and whatever. So by the time a soldier even ends up in combat, it has cost the Army tons of money to train them up to that point, not to mention the 98% of soldiers who never saw combat that they still had to train. And so if they can start to employ more technology, even though it may be an expensive piece of equipment, think about the lessening of essential manpower, right? So, I don't know.
I think what worries me or concerns me is this technological age is a great thing. But you know how many times I get an email saying, did you sign into this account at this location in the world? And sometimes it's me using my bank account or whatever on a different device or whatever. And I'm saying, yes, it's recognize this or whatever. But we're talking about robotic dogs who will one day, or drones, or what. We're living in a digital age that someone can hack in at any moment. I think there are people who possess that quality or
for sure.
or skill.
Well, did you guys see the what do you call it when someone's held hostage and they want money to get them back?
Ransom.
Have you seen those ransom cases with AI, where there's like these AI covers of songs. They're like Donald Trump singing XYZ, Joe Biden singing, right? Well, AI can recreate somebody's voice if there's enough of them on the internet. Well, there have been news stories coming out of people getting a phone call from a relative saying, I've been captured, they're crying on the phone, you've got to send these people money, they're going to kill me, they're going to, all this stuff, only to find out that it was AI generated. And so that is a new way that people are scamming. They don't even have to take anybody hostage, and they can still get ransom money.
What website is that? That's kidding.
So
I'm going to call my own mom. Mom, I need $20.
I feel like this is so incriminating in case you ever got accused of something crazy. We're going to go back on this podcast.
Michael goes missing, but he's really back over there.
You are our first suspect for sure.
So there's this stuff called ransomware, which our IT department had talked to us about. But basically, at this time, when he told us years ago, it would be somebody trying to get into your computer, but they lock you out unless you paid a ransom. And that they wouldn't hurt anything. They wouldn't take anything. They just, they took your money, but that would be the only way for you to get your documents back. But IT people couldn't even get into the computer and unlock it. They had it so locked down that if you just paid the money, they will release it. And I was like,
well, have you seen
wild.
the guy on YouTube who ransomwares the guys who do ransomware? No, so he is like some IT like hacker genius guy, and he finds scammers and he scams them essentially. And so he'll lock down their computer full of other people's... So he will scam the
scammers?
Yes.
I
think that's the name of the YouTube, is like Scam the Scammer or something like that.
God bless him.
But basically he will he'll be like on the phone, and he does these crazy voice impressions. He'll sound like an old lady and be like, yes, darling, where did you say to buy the gift cards, and where do I send them to? You know, just going along with the whole scam until he can pull up enough information from them to lock down their system. And then he'll switch up his voice and be like, you're really trying to steal money from old ladies, you know, whatever. And all of a sudden, these guys from the other side of the world that were trying to talk sweet to this old lady, they're like crying on the phone because he's got everything. And he just deletes.
Awesome.
And he's got like a tally of how many files he's deleted from these scammers, because they're personal information, personal documents, banking information, whatever, from all these people that have been scammed. And he just goes in and wipes their computer clean. And it's just so fun to watch.
Oh yeah, I think I commend him. But that's crazy how they can do that. Even like that 14, 15-year-old kid that was able to hack into Elon Musk's private flight itinerary.
Oh yeah.
And then he was like, if anybody knows and wants to know where he's landing, you know, I'll post it. So he even offered money to him to stop doing that, and he turned it down. He's like, no, this is public information. It's like, I mean, the ability to go onto the computer to do that. So that's why with the...
He said, I know what I'm worth. After Elon Musk offered him $10,000 to stop posting his personal information. So then, like a boss, Elon just bought Twitter and shut down his account.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It was like he had that ability to say, okay, I'm trying to be nice. I'm going to give you $10,000, kid. You know, mind your own business. And he was like, no, it's public. He goes, okay. Now I'm buying Twitter. It's now called X, and your account is banned. And then he tried to put it on Instagram, and then they ended up booting him off of there. But I mean, that just goes back to what you're saying. It's just with that whole technology. So if you can do that on the computers now, I think the ability of creating the robots and making them more realistic is
okay. So
crazy.
I found the guy just to give him a shout out.
Put him on there.
Even though he's got 3.24 million subscribers, he doesn't need our help. But Kit Boga, if that's how you say his name, Kitboga. Hilarious to watch, man. Because, I mean, he will just egg these guys on.
Man, do you want your money? Do you want your money or do you don't want your money? Then you need to do as I say. You are not my teacher. No! No!
That's the guy right there?
That's the guy.
No! What? Man! Are you mad? Why are you leaving us? Are you mad?
So, yeah, he does these beautiful old lady impressions, dude. His... hold on. Let me see if I can pull one up.
That one video you showed, he had 15 million viewers on it just to be able to see that. That is crazy.
He has 3.24 million subscribers.
We are done, baby.
Joe's address starts with a 3.
Yeah, it's mine.
So how did you do it?
I typed it in just exactly like why didn't you copy and paste? Might be you typed something wrong. Nah, I double checked it. Do you see what I sent you?
Who's who?
I double checked it, hon.
Who's who?
Yeah,
the second voice
that was the
him?
guy. Yeah.
How does he do it? Like, how do they do it? What?
Dude, I don't know. Have you heard of swatting?
Yeah.
The idea of swatting is these viewers who are good at technology. They'll be watching someone's live stream, find their address
their IP
somehow through their IP, find their home address, and then call the police and get SWAT to raid their house while they're on live stream. Is like this whole prank thing, which is
it's
horrible,
been happening a lot.
Horribly dangerous. But anyway, it's that kind of stuff. There's people who are really good at what they do, and they can find the information they want. Like,
and we live on a technology where even one of the Whole Foods had the very first time where a lady paid her groceries with her palm. But I don't know. Put Whole Foods paying with groceries with palm. I don't know if she had a chip installed, but she paid her groceries with her palm.
I don't know if I want the
Like
government having every single intimate detail about me.
But
I mean, they already got my thumbprint, but
yeah. Hey,
and every other fingerprint. Now that I think about it,
they don't have Michael's daughter's footprint because he did not allow that. He was like, "You are not taking my daughter's footprint for her birth certificate because she's older now and her foot is bigger." And we're not going to do that.
Whole Foods Market in Austin offers pay by palm option. Those who opt into Amazon One service can hover their palm over an Amazon One device, paying for their purchase
You just hover it? Like, it doesn't even have to fully scan?
The technology evaluates multiple aspects of your palm to verify a person's identity, with cameras helping capture some of the most detailed.
What? That is crazy.
No two palms are alike, so we analyze multiple attributes and select the most distinct identifiers to create your unique palm signature.
I'll be traveling there pretty soon. I don't want to say it because I don't want like all my fans to come attack me, but I'm gonna go to Whole Foods and be like this, for my $7,900 worth of groceries. That's like 3 things.
It'd be like a Jet A.
Yeah.
I have paid my bill.
Yeah,
That's so.
but it doesn't.
Crazy.
It didn't say how. Well, I guess from all the details. But what? How? I don't get it.
I don't know, bro.
Hey, my palm says broke. You're like, hey, what if
It scans your palm. It's like, this guy has no money.
Yeah. What if they're like, sorry, sir, it's been declined. I don't get it.
What you need?
Hold
I
on,
don't
let me wash
understand.
it.
Yeah. Do you have some hand sanitizers? How is my hand declined? I don't get it. They're like, sorry, sir. Do you have another palm? I only have this one.
You only have one?
I left my other one at home.
They'd be like, that's declined. Hold on, let me take off my shoe.
It's kind of
We don't take feet sold.
It's kind of like your tattoo, Big Al.
Yeah.
You just stop halfway.
Yeah, that
I'd
could be
like,
your signature because ain't nobody else getting that tattooed on their body.
I got this. Decline. Thank you. Do you want me to put that stuff back forward? I'm gonna have to give it a try. Well, that goes to show that I'm still astonished by it. That's amazing.
How much did Elon Musk buy Twitter for? Take a guess.
Wasn't I thought it was like $6 billion, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty close. 44 billion.
Oh, 44 billion. I know it was in the billions. I wanted to say a trillion. But
What's
that's
it
not
worth
much.
now? Out of curiosity.
I
know it's been, all the stock has been up and down like crazy, but just put Twitter stock. $53 a share. I think he valued it at like $45 a share when he bought it, something like that. So apparently it's gone up. Oh, did you see he renamed it to X?
Yeah.
Well, that's when.
You know why? It's the history that he owned X.com or something like
Yeah.
that back in the day.
But didn't Thread become a thing, and then so he changed it to X? When they created
was
Thread,
X was a bank. He created PayPal,
right?
right? And so he had X.com, but then he sold that. And then when he bought Twitter, he then changed it back to bought the rights to X.com and then changed it all to X.
It's so crazy because when I want to hold on to a piece of my past, it's generally connected to something like in a shoebox in my closet. But Elon Musk is like, no, let me rename a multi-billion-dollar company because I one time owned a domain name 30 years ago. It's so crazy.
How much do you know how much his worth is?
Who, Elon Musk?
Yeah, so Bill Gates' worth is 113 billion. So what would Elon Musk's?
I don't remember if
Bill Gates. He owns
he's at
Microsoft.
131 billion, I think.
Who?
Elon Musk.
Oh.
No, is he richer than Bill Gates? I think he's like, I say 30 billion.
Okay, so if I tell you he is worth more than Jeff Bezos, and Jeff Bezos is 156 billion.
Oh, wow.
Let's play the hot or cold game.
Well, can I say that quick fact? If you're talking about how many billion, no, just anything over 100 billion. For some reason, I just randomly told Michael a tidbit. If somebody gave you $5,000 a day, it would take you 547 years before you reach your first billion.
That's crazy.
And they have 100
No.
They have more
Cold.
than 100 billion. So what can we do to calculate how much money would somebody have to give you every single day to even reach 100 billion?
You're cold.
So a 201 billion.
Cold.
Oh man, I have no idea.
Warmer.
Yeah, you're warmer.
You're warmer.
You're up to like 72
189.
degrees.
You
just
went
saw-
colder.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you went the wrong way.
I just saw it. I don't know.
244.
God. So
He's at a
200
$250 billion.
And did you know that if you wanted to count to a trillion, like 1, 2, 3, it either is going to take you 6 months or 11 months, like continuous. Like if you just sat every single day and just said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it'll take you every single day to
just
like
like
6. like 6
How
months.
many seconds or whatever?
Yeah,
they are.
because of how long it's going to take you. So to understand that equivalent,
I don't even
of money,
believe that. There's no way you're going to get to $1 trillion in 6 months.
It could
$1
be longer.
trillion?
So then you're saying that with counting.
How many
So,
seconds are in a day?
44 million billion.
Okay. We got 86,400 seconds. So do $1 trillion minus 86,
I don't even
or
know
sorry,
how many-
divided by
To
86.
count to 1 billion at the rate of a number a second would take you 31.69 years.
Hey,
You are so far off.
Oh my
That was
God.
not even
So what is $1 trillion?
Okay.
Alex
Oh
doesn't even
my
have that much left
God.
in his life.
I know. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3.
Listen.
Hey, but I ain't gonna lie. I don't even think I know what numbers are
Where
after
did you
a million.
get the 6 to 11?
No,
month?
it was 6 to 11 years. It was something.
31,688 years.
31.7 thousand years would take you.
Count to $1 trillion. Hey, what
Oh,
if
I
you're?
thought it said 31,000
Hey,
years.
what if? Hey, what if you're a trillionaire? You finally make it to a trillion. You go to the bank. You go, I want all my money in ones, please. The lady's like, 1, 2, 3. It's like $31,000 years later. Do you tell her I'll be back? I'm gonna run to Popeyes. What did you just go?
No, but having
I know I've been craving
being
Popeyes,
worth $1
so-
trillion doesn't mean you have $1 trillion.
Well, I know your net value and all that, but I'm just saying. But even to count that, like I can honestly say that if the number passed 1 million, like I don't even know what number you go to when it's like 1,100,078. Like to
You'd
try
go
to
to
keep
1,100,079.
But I'm saying, but counting that every single time, yeah.
Yeah, which would be longer than a second, so it still would take you longer than.
So 32,000 years.
But honest, like real life question, because this is argued about all the time. Do you think someone should be able to have that much money to their name?
yeah, of course, I believe it.
Should.
Because
I mean,
there is an argument out there
yes,
that
about restriction of income and what they should place on what a person should earn, but
Who governs that?
they're trying. They're
well,
trying.
and the fear, and I'm just giving the argument. The argument would go that the gap between the top 1% and literally everyone else is growing rapidly
Right.
and exponentially, which means money is flowing upward, which 100 years down the road leaves you no option except the 1% owning everything and everyone else being
Right.
poor. That is
Right.
Hunger Games.
with
Yep.
with no
True.
restriction at all. That's in theory what happens. So how do you govern that, and should it be governed in the first place,
Well-
or is it just
well,
it is what
I
it
mean,
is?
countries do that now. I mean, there are countries that place income limitation on people if you're not either part of the government or you're part of that socialite. That's why people come to America, which one, it puts us in the greatest country to be able to have the earnings, but like you said, is there a limit? I mean, do we let those top 1% take control of us when there's countries currently right now that they have limitations on how much you can make?
That's crazy.
Like they will limit it, but not here in America.
So I feel like some of the things people do not take into consideration. One, let's go with a much more comprehensible number and say 1 million. Let's say you're a millionaire. That does not mean you make $1 million a year. That doesn't mean you even have $1 million of cash.
You have
It means
assets
you
and all
are
that,
worth
yeah.
$1 million between everything you own minus any debt that you have, right? So if you are a millionaire, maybe you have a $400,000 house that you paid off over 30 years. That's 40% of it. The other 60% could be your cars that you own outright, your everything else.
Right.
Then your investments that you've been investing over 20, 30 years or whatever. This whole millionaire idea is not necessarily somebody rolling in the dough. It's probably someone who just paid off their debts and invested money over 30, 40 years, right? That's like 90% of millionaires. So that being said, there's arguments about like, oh, tax the rich, they should have a 90% tax rate. Well, in my opinion, if I was going to be taxed 90% for making over a certain amount of money, guess what I'm not going to do? Make any more money, because what the heck would be the point? Which means there's less economic growth, there's
Right.
less
Because you're
job
not spending
opportunities.
your money. You're
Think
not
about how
spending-
many jobs Jeff Bezos has created. I mean,
Right.
probably an insane amount. Not to mention the same guy that we're complaining about, we still subscribe to Amazon Prime because who doesn't want same-day shipping?
There's everything. True.
And so for the development, like I can't see why they should be paying a higher percentage than anybody else. But I guess the flip side of that argument would be it's not necessarily about a 90% tax rate. It's more about how our tax codes are written in favor of those who own large businesses because of all the tax breaks you can get. Then you can argue, okay, are those tax breaks worth it because it's causing economic growth, or should we just create a standard, like let's say it's a 15% federal tax rate across the board, whether you make $6,000 a year or millions of dollars a year. Well, then, and take out all the tax break, that's what you.
But I look at it differently. You gave like a extreme breakdown of it. I look at it as a simple fact that you live in America, you have that chance to do it. You either do or you don't. So don't complain. Live within your means. Do what you have. Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg.
Well, so
they're all.
But why are there monopoly laws?
Yeah, well, that's
you know what I mean, because the argument could go, hey, this is capitalism. You know, if I'm the only person who provides this service, I should be able to charge as much as I want. And in theory, I would agree with that. But there are monopoly laws for a reason, because it becomes a 1% screwing over the 99, just inevitably. Recently, which ones were they? 2 airlines, Spirit and Frontier, were going to merge. And it got shut down because of monopoly laws.
Yeah, exactly.
And the idea was, even though it wouldn't be a monopoly on the airline industry, those are the 2 budget options basically in the U.S. And once you combine, all of a sudden there's no budget competition anymore, which means regular people are not going to get those budget flights anymore like they used to. And so laws like that do exist. And no economic system works in its extreme. So capitalism in its extreme would say, who cares if you have a monopoly? You earned that monopoly, right? But at some point there has to be a limit, or else you end up in the Hunger Games, like Michael said. So where you draw those lines is just interesting.
And how it gets to that, I mean, it's a possibility, but
what does that mean for us or our listeners?
I mean, nothing to me. I am not a billionaire.
Cancel Amazon, cancel YouTube, cancel that. We can't do that.
But
we can't
do
that.
It isn't a conversation, politically or whatever. That's just interesting to me, because I hate the thought of anyone trying to dip their hands in my money that I've earned, whether that's by long hours or a great idea or a fantastic business model or whatever I implement by my own sweat and mind and everything else. I would hate the thought of someone trying to put limitations on me.
Right.
It's really easy for us to think of putting limitations on someone who's ahead of us. Yeah. So
no, that's my
you
whole
know
point.
what I mean?
No, that's a great point. Is that we can't judge that somebody that we know that we're not trying to compare ourselves to.
If I created Amazon and revolutionized the way the world did online business and made billions of dollars as a result, the thought of the federal government trying to get in the way of that bothers me, right? But
because you're making
again,
them just as much money.
When does it stop?
Yeah.
So
but what are the chances of that occurring, as often? Like, how many Jeff Bezos are going to be in the next 20 years? I mean, the chances are...
Well, the amount of billionaires in the U.S. is growing a lot.
Yeah, it has increased.
Like, fast.
But I just think that the opportunities of what they're doing, it won't get... I don't think it'll get to that
But to you, wouldn't
a
flat tax rate just make more sense?
Yeah. Yeah, but you're going to have too many arguments on both sides. Would I feel it? Yeah, I feel it. Yeah. Just, this is your percentage. If you make this... then you gotta work out to get this.
That like literally is the definition of fair. Because it's proportional. If you make $1 million, you're gonna pay 15% of that.
Something as simple as the thought, when these billionaires go, if they went to a grocery store, they're still gonna pay the same amount that we all pay for a gallon of milk. Now the store they shop at will be different, but it's still priced the same. So,
but is it proportional to the amount of income?
No, but it's not. But that's what I'm saying. So, if you want to do the taxes based on, you know, the income earned on that, then everybody should, if they go to a grocery store, they should pay based on their earnings for a gallon of milk. They're
Well,
going to be leaving out there paying $125 for a
Because then
gallon
you're
of
talking
milk.
about state taxes, but
If you do a flat tax, then it's like, hey, look, this is what it is. This is what you pay. I mean,
well,
I
but
don't
again,
know.
that is a flat tax because it's
Yeah, no,
percentage
no.
based. It doesn't matter how much money you make or whatever. It is a certain set percentage. To me, that makes more sense than what's the word?
Like a modified.
Well, if I put something in your way that demotivates you, de-incentivize, you are literally de-incentivizing making a lot of money with our current system, because the more money you make, the higher your tax rate.
Right.
Versus not just the more you'll pay in taxes, that's common sense, but literally the higher percentage you'll pay. So once you get above a certain amount, they start taking half of everything. Well, at what point do you go, okay, I'm just going to stop growing because I'm getting 50 cents for every dollar, right? I don't know. It's an interesting conversation.
Do y'all know the name Tony Hsieh?
From Zappos.
Yeah, founder
You know,
of Zappos.
I read his book a
Unfortunately,
couple years ago.
I did
He,
too.
I mean, he died in a very horrific accident. My cousin
I
was
didn't
really
hear
good
that
friends
part.
with him. Yeah, a few years ago, he was locked
Dude,
in
your family is friends with all kinds of people. we were
I
at
stay connected.
we were at the gym, and Alex is like, "Oh yeah, this is my family member who worked with J-Lo on this music video," and I talked to her on the phone. And then he mentions all
love
these
you,
other
J-Lo.
celebrities. I'm like, dude,
J-Lo, call me.
when are
I
you
know
going to
she's watching
introduce
this.
me is the question.
Yes, I will eventually soon. But Tony, that man, it's sad. He unfortunately he passed away in where
On a
he got
fire.
carbon monoxide and a fire, and they're not sure if he said it himself, but he revolutionized the shoe game and buying shoes online. And his attitude and the way he created an atmosphere at Zappos, like everybody wanted to work there. Like everybody just went in was friends, and he had it so laid back. And then very unfortunate.
So that's an interesting thing to study with some of these highly successful people, is what the work environment would be like to work with them. Because if you're that high performing, I can't imagine you being super pleasant to work around. Like,
Well, nobody likes working with Elon Musk. That's
right,
been
right.
advertised.
That's been like
Apple.
pretty
The
common
Apple
knowledge.
CEO has been advertised as he was always Steve Jobs was always basically an ass, and I don't know about Jeff Bezos. I haven't heard a whole lot about him. But I'm sorry, man. I actually cut you off. But what did you want to say about him? Because I've been a big fan about him. No, I was a big fan of him from the very beginning.
I read his book, but I didn't realize he
Oh.
died back in 2020.
Yeah.
So it says here in this report he was consuming ketamine and up to 50 canisters of nitrous oxide known as
Yeah.
whippets on a daily basis. He believed he was morphing into a crystal and had wanted to start a theme park where visitors would pay in seashells.
Yeah.
And that's it. I was like, wow, that's very interesting. So when you have that kind of money, it's kind of like the guys back in the submarine.
Wait, he thought he was morphing into a crystal?
Yes. Like
Yeah.
he thought in his mind that he was morphing into a crystal and that he wanted to start a theme park where visitors could pay with seashells.
Yeah.
So it goes back to that submarine talk we had a
Wow.
few weeks ago. And it's like you have an absurd amount of money that you just experience a different world
Yeah.
that we don't get to experience.
And he was definitely living that because he was a philanthropist. I hate that word.
my goodness.
Yeah, wait.
You
Can we
j-
spell it? Well,
that
earlier you
was
said a word that was kind of like
butchered.
simple, but you butchered it. What word? Because you even looked at it when he said it. He said something like common, but it came out.
Wikipedia?
Oh, besides Wikipedia. Anyway, well, you know that. But he donated.
Philanthropist?
There you go. He has given so much money back. Yeah, it's like, and even when you see his interviews, and it's crazy. Yeah, like all of a sudden everybody's gonna be, paid
Yeah.
with seashells.
Well, it's
His book
crazy.
is really good though. I mean, building Zappos where it was so basic. Like, you want to buy shoes, you just put in an online where people can just,
But what
and then
made
you
it-
can return them whether you liked them or not. He had such a great return policy, customer
Well, yeah.
service policy.
And that's what I was
It's
going to get to
crazy.
is his success was built on customer satisfaction and convenience. He
Yeah.
revolutionized convenience. And we go back to the technology conversation we had earlier. The world is becoming a very convenient world
Right.
where I'm willing to pay more to have it now.
Right.
We started off with fast food diners and ATM machines and all these things. We wanted things instant, and now we want it even more instant, and we want 1-day shipping instead of 2-day shipping. I mean, I get stuff ordered and it's there tomorrow.
That's pretty scary. But don't you think that first thing that he was really focused on, customer service, which I said in the beginning of the show, I'm not worried about being replaced as a robot, because you still have to have some kind of human connection.
Yeah.
Because there will still people. I've gone to certain grocery stores and they have, dozen self checkouts and maybe only 3 where there's somebody who's actually manned, and there will be a whole line of waiting for in a self checkout, whether they don't know how to use it, or I think it's just they just want somebody to check them out and be like, hey, how you doing today? Oh, everything good for you? I think it goes into that. So that's what I'm hoping. All my people at the gym, I'm human. I like being around you, except them too. I'm gonna have a totally AI robot with y'all in the morning.
We don't need you.
Yes, you do. Hey man, when I'm doing deadlifts, do I just put the camera on me? This is Michael doing deadlifts. Don't tell me I'm lying.
I'm not going to name anybody by name, but there's a couple guys at the gym that are real strong and have the ugliest deadlift form I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, they call it the the scary cat, where it's like,
yeah, where they're like,
we love you, Mario. I'm just kidding.
Okay, he's kind of one of them. Or my country buddy that I used to bring to the gym that would show up and still to this day has horrible deadlift form. But it's like some people are just built different. Like they are not going to hurt their lower back. He literally would just put it back down like 500 pounds. Like nothing.
We're going to create a robot just for them. Hey, is your deadlift day? Hold on a second. And that robot comes out. We're like, that is you for today.
Every time they arch their back, the robot just like.
Yeah. See, I think we can find the benefits behind it. I think we did good. Yep, we're all getting replaced. We're all getting replaced. Yeah.
But what I find interesting is all throughout history, we were willing to pay money and sacrifice for an easier life. And what you find now is we have built such a comfortable life, like Michael was talking about, that we pay money to challenge ourselves.
Correct.
Sounds weird, but literally, what is a gym? Like, you literally have to pay money to go and push something heavy. That used to be what you had to do every day.
Yeah, go to Nigeria. They are jacked. I mean, they're chiseled because every day, that's their livelihood. They do that every day. I'm telling you, those guys are jacked. And then guess what? They eat nuts and bananas and like fruit of the land. If they don't harvest, they don't eat. They don't work, they don't eat.
And do you think that
we live in Concreteville, that if you want to go and experience any nature, what do? You have to pay money to go on a trip, to go on some hiking trail, it's like a special thing now when that, was a part of life prior to the modern age. But I just find it very, very interesting that you are almost odd for caring about that when that's like what's built into our DNA. You think about even like when it comes to fitness, the metabolism, the way it is built in theory is your body wants to burn calories as slow as possible because you don't know when your next meal is coming from, right? The whole idea was to conserve energy. Now we have to work to burn off energy and to limit what we're taking in because we have the total opposite problem. This is a very interesting concept.
So are you saying that people are going to start having robots to go into the gym and lift for them, and they come back home, how was your workout? You did great. And they go into the closet and then shut down.
That's not what he said.
No, not at all. No, but I mean, think about like a slow metabolism is a genetic advantage. When you just think about it, if you were out in a hunter-gatherer tribe, a slow metabolism is what you want. You want your body to conserve energy as much as possible because you may miss a meal today. You don't know. Versus we see it as a weakness now because we just live so abundantly, So, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm very thankful. But I did have you're talking about these guys from Nigeria. I had a Nigerian in basic training with me. One of the most jacked individuals I've ever met. Just moved to America a couple months prior. He knew some English and whatever. Still thick accent, was kind of hard to understand, but became friends with him after a while. And at one point, I just asked him. I was like, "What is your like workout routine? What do you do?" And he's like, "What do you mean? Like to exercise your body? Like what do you do to be strong?" And I just go on walks. It's like walks. What are you talking about? You are built like what's his
I'm
name?
shutting down the gym and putting a whole bunch of treadmills. We're all supposed to get checked just by
What
walking.
what's Aquaman actor's name?
Steven Adams.
No.
No, he does look like him though.
Or actually, better example,
Thor.
Black Panther. That actor,
Yeah.
dude was built exactly like him. Like literally, you could have entered a Marvel
Chadwick
movie
Boseman.
on the spot.
Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, rest in peace. But I don't know. It's just crazy. And I asked him, I'm like, what's home like for you? Like, is your family
Jason.
built the same way? He said, yeah, all my family, has big muscles and whatever. He said I grew up like wrestling lions. I'm like, whoa, hold on, what? And he said, no, like literally, there's just wild cats and whatever running through my home village. And as kids, we like chased them around.
Wait.
Like that was normal. It's just a completely different.
I just want to make a point. You said he was from Nigeria and you met him in what? Where'd you say you met him at?
In basic training.
That's awesome. So basically,
No,
he came over here to basically enroll to fight for our country.
Yes.
Very good.
People get their citizenship that way. It's
Very
a
good.
fast track. I don't know if it's fast track, but it's
I mean, it's
simpler.
a decision that's made. I can respect that.
And they can get citizenship for
respect
their
that.
family and stuff that way too. So
So he identified that this was a good opportunity for him, and then we gave him that opportunity. God bless America.
don't salute again.